turn to your son, because when I interviewed him 9 months ago, we got into some of the deals that you did together as father and son, which I found absolutely gripping. One of which was when you decided
They're not that gripping.
Oh, they are. They are. So Howard, you turned your backyard into a little farm, and you wanted to do a deal with your dad about the rental. Explain to me what the deal was.
Well, actually, that was on 400 acres that HWB farms now, and the deal was that the rent amount would be based on my weight.
This was not a brilliant moment in parenting.
I mean, Warren, what were you thinking? So it was literally paid that if you put on weight, the rent went up, and if you reduced your weight,
unfortunately,
the rent went down.
Yeah, and I started feeding him candy and pie and all of these things.
and unfortunately, I kept paying the higher rate.
So it didn't work.
No, not really.
No.
Conversely, there was an incentive scheme on a car that you wanted as a gift. Well, you wanted the money for it. Tell me about that, because that did work.
Well, you know, I knew that when I graduated from high school, I would really want a car. So I went to my dad. And I said, if I don't, this was at the beginning of high school. I said, for the next 3 years, if I don't get a birthday present or a Christmas present, will you get me a car? And he designated he'd give me $5,000. And back then, that was actually quite a bit of money. And
Still is.
See the problem I deal with? It's a big problem.
Look after the pennies, the pounds look after themselves, my mother always said.
And so when I graduated, I had $5,000, and I had a summer job, so I earned another $2,300, and I bought a new car with it, and I thought it was a pretty good deal.
And Warren, you stuck rigidly to the terms of the deal, so that
Of course.
there was no wavering
It was
on
a
your
deal.
part.
No, it was a deal. I mean,
it's interesting that the two incentives, one worked and one didn't. I mean, do you regret the weight incentive that you laid down with your son?
I would say it was dumb. You know, we're still talking about it today.
And Howard, do you lay these down on HWB here? Has he had the same criteria?
You know, I don't think I've ever done that. No, I just, what I did is sometimes I would tell him he was going on a trip to some country he didn't want to go to. But you know, I figured that was educational. I don't think I've ever done that. No. Yeah.
Warren, all three of your children went to public school.
That's
all
true.
three of them dropped out of college.
Right.
You've always been pretty phlegmatic about that. You didn't seem too phased. Why?
Well, for one thing, if they combine their credits, we can get 1 degree and pass it around.
The only problem is arguing who gets it.
I never thought, I didn't want to go to college myself. My dad talked me into it. But I think my kids got a wonderful education in public school. I mean, they went to the same school that their grandfather did, their mother. It's a school, inner city school, that's been between 20 and 35% black for 75 years. They saw the real world, and they saw what America's all about, and I think it was a great education.
What were the key messages that you wanted to send to your children, which I guess you've passed down as well, to deal with the fact that there was enormous wealth in the family almost from when they were born?
Well, they never felt that it was going to be passed on to create some dynasty of something. I always felt that we would live wonderfully, and then the rest would go back to society, and that's been the plan since I was in my 20s.
He hid it for a long time. We didn't know it.
Right.